So don't think that Bowler Performance is just about those custom transmissions. It really is not. You've got stock Tremec transmissions.
Yep, ready to go.
I mean, Ring Brothers last year when they had unveiled it, it's all of these cars that we see that ends up in all of the magazines, and it's like, okay, what about the transmission?
The shorter span you can keep between gears, the faster you're going to accelerate, the better that car is going to perform. Absolute comfort behind the product that they're not going to wipe out a transmission.
Because it's 2026, it's the online world, e-commerce is booming, but hopefully these videos really allow you the opportunity to connect with not just the product, but the people behind the product, and exactly see why it is so good. As I mentioned, very well known in the industry, and we've got some awards. Can you show us some of them, please, Mark?
I'll have to look and see what we've got. So some of them are best new product. Back in 2022, we even had a best product in 2011 at the Hot Rod Restoration Show. Best engine transmission in 2012. This is our local chamber. We've been part of them for 20 years. Again, being a small community, we try and really support the local town and be part of what we can there. But we've been very fortunate with, product design, and that's what I've always loved is new products. So we always try and enter something, and if we win, that's great.
You're an absolute hot rodder, aren't you?
I am.
You've been going to car shows for how long?
Probably since the age of 13 and 14. My father has always taken me to events and got me into, even though he was not necessarily supportive of it, he wasn't
supportive of the car shows?
Yeah, well, he didn't necessarily understand it. He was, the transmissions was a way to provide for a living, not necessarily to fuel the passion. Even though he was, he had a 61 Ford, 3 Deuces, got ran out of the local town for drag racing on the main street. So he had it in him. Yeah. I just don't think he ever knew there was a potential to take it further. So it's in my blood. And he knew that, as a young age, I could recognize what cars were and models. And he's like, I don't know where you get this. And I was just attracted to it.
When did you first get your hands involved in messing around with a car?
Physically, so I had a great friend locally here. His name was Jerry Wegger. He's passed away by now, but he was a diehard old school hot rodder. So I would go after school when I could to his shop. He was shaving door handles and Frenching the taillights and lowering the car and put a twin turbo big block Oldsmobile motor in like a 50 Oldsmobile. So every time I went there, it was lit up. And if he would let me do something with it, it was great.
Right.
So I would say that was by the age of probably 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And then, of course, growing up working with the gears and the parts and cleaning parts for Dad, is always naturally attracted to it.
If there's one thing that we can definitely emphasize is that the hot rod culture, the classic car community has just thrived. It has grown over the years, and I guess with your dad early on, he didn't see it as making a passive income
Correct.
For the family, because it was a hobby.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's all it was. And I think that's all he's seen it. So he was nervous for my future of trying to go down this crazy path, and I'm very thankful he lived long enough to see it. And I think he was kind of blown away. He's like, I guess you know what he was doing. I said, well, I wouldn't go that far. But
you do know what you're doing. It has evolved, and new products have continuously come out, so we are going to check that out. I am very interested to see the latest product as well as everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in what I would call our R&D, our development room. So this is where basically new products will start. So yeah, you'll see we've got an LT motor, LS motor, obviously the most common platforms that current day is still being used. So we'll develop, like right now we're developing adapters to transplant different transmissions onto the back of these motors. We'll 3D scan all of the components. Then we'll actually design it. These are 3D printed components. So we'll 3D print the first ones, be sure fitment, and then we'll go through and go to production afterwards.
So these are the accessories, the adapters that you were telling me about earlier, and you manufacture these in-house as well?
That's correct. So what we do, we will bring the engines in and scan and create all the 3D data and information. We'll design the product, then we'll 3D print it, because that's the most inexpensive way to prove like a prototype, fit everything up, and then we'll go to manufacturing. And we do that once, we can control the quality. It's all made here in the U.S. With the tariffs and the things that's happening in the U.S., some of the quality components that maybe is available overseas is not easily achievable, or the price points went up. It gives us a chance. We can also really refine the product to what we feel our customers need. We see some voids maybe across the different countries that doesn't support what the builders need here.
Yeah.
So that's where we try and come in. The builder community has always been our core and our focus, mainly because I've always wanted to build cars. I've always been involved in building cars. We understand what their needs are.
Yes.
So we refine our products.
What's going to give a good fitment.
Correct.
And I think that's the benefits here at Bowler is with the adapters, not only are they made in-house, but because you've got the resources and you're so involved with this, the fitment is going to be absolutely spot on.
100%. And the biggest fear we have on a transmission side is whenever you start adapting, so the tolerances of what we would say from the flex plate to a torque converter, when it marries up, is so critical for the life of that transmission. It scares us whenever somebody says, hey, I've bought this adapter, I want to buy your transmission. If they don't necessarily know what they're looking for, they wipe out our transmission, and then we're in a warranty position, or we're trying to figure out why it failed.
And so, what makes it so important?
So what is important, and I wish I had one to show you, but
obviously the real one is not this.
So this is the adapter. I'll show you this. Okay. So for example, this would be what marries the flex plate to the torque converter. And on an automatic transmission, whenever you marry these together, there needs to be what we call a pull-up or a gap between the converter and this flex plate. Now, once it's bolted together, that gap goes away. But whenever you start changing the stack up, if this doesn't have a gap, it may bolt up, but it may be putting too much pressure inside the transmission, so it can wipe out the pump. This allows us, and I think we're on revision 3 or 4 just to dial in to know exactly what it's going to be, because that's more critical to us than even this part. This part's easy.
Right.
But us being a transmission company, we see others that maybe can make an adapter. If they don't know really anything more than I'm just marrying a bolt pattern to a bolt pattern,
right?
We're looking at it from a mechanical standpoint, and the long life of it, dependability of it, is knowing these clearances for the transmission. I feel like that's where we can give an overall better product and have absolute comfort behind the product that they're not going to wipe out a transmission.
Wow, and you've already done 3 to 4 prototypes, refining that. And that's the beauty when things do get made, not only in-house, when they get made with builders and people who know the product, who know how they perform and how they function and where those errors may be.
I don't like being that company that just, we think it'll work, or it works here, or it works on paper. And of course, I have an addiction to cars, so whenever I can buy something and we can develop, test it, drive it. There's one back here that we've been driving it for a year and haven't even released a product, because I want to have that much comfort in the product before we release it. I think too many people rush to market, and I get it. I mean, it's expensive, but those tech calls and the problems we want to avoid. So
yes. It's not just the calls, because you are so involved in the community, not only the builders and shops that do rely on you and come to you, but even the public. they have access to you at the shows, and because of that, your product needs to be right up there without any issues, without any problems. And I think that's why you have done so well, and people do speak highly of you, which is why I'm here. It's why I had to get my transmission from you as well.
I appreciate those kind statements. I've always said, I want to be able to walk around and hold my head high. I don't want to ever feel like I got to hide from someone. And if they do have a problem, I want them to know they can directly approach us and we will get it resolved right away. So we take a lot of pride in quality and take that extra time and effort because it means everything to me.
I love that, and that's honestly, that is the reason for these behind the scenes factory tours, for the people that we do see at the shows, the names that do keep getting mentioned, to come right here, because it's 2026, it's the online world, e-commerce is booming, there is stores everywhere, and where it's coming from what country, you don't really know.
Right.
But hopefully these videos really allow you the opportunity to connect with not just the product, but the people behind the product, and exactly see why it is so good. So, okay, well, what is this big machine, Mark?
This is a laser, so we use this for a couple different processes. It's actually set up right now for fixturing, so they were obviously running dial indicator plates. So dial indicator is for a manual transmission. So on the T56 Magnum, whenever you bolt them up, the bell housing, you need to check the concentric circle and parallelism. Now this isn't a product, just a fixture, but we have a product that bolts on there so you can check to be sure that's perfectly centered, because there is no way to do it without that plate. So it's so critical, even though we talked to so many people and they've never done it. It's like, so what was your parallelism? What was your concentric of the bell housing? And usually they say perfect.
How do they check that, Mark?
One of our popular products here is our T56 dial indicator plate. So what this allows you to do, so anytime you use it, doesn't matter, aluminum or a SFI steel bell housing, on a T56 Magnum, you have no true concentric circle to work off from. So the way this plate works is we have the dowels pressed in. This is actually a CNC machined perfect true circle here. It'll actually let you sweep for concentric. We do recommend our display here, we don't have it, but putting all the bolts in and actually torquing them to the 30 foot-pounds and keep it consistent, because you will see a difference there. But this is how you're going to check for concentric of your bell housing. This allows it to be an easy process.
Such a convenient and essential tool to have for correct dial and alignment of the bell housing, without actually removing the transmission cover. Now that's pretty cool. Now this is available on the website, but let's continue on, Mark.
On our Carbon Edition 6 speeds and our 5 speeds, we'll actually brand it. I was hoping he would have one done, but you'll see on the screen, a lot of times we'll put our logo, who it was built for, and if we know the customer. So this one is for Thomas Design. So every transmission will literally show you that it was custom built for them, and when we know that even the end customer's name, we'll put their end customer name as well. So we try and brand the builders, the customer, so when they get it, they know it was built for them. So
that's a nice
that's one
touch.
of the luxuries to this.
And when it comes to the custom cars, these little details do matter.
It does matter. And I mean, if we say we're going to custom build it, why not show the people that it's custom built for them? And it makes them feel good. This is some of the, whenever I say we are a solution company, some of this may not make sense to people because you would never go to a transmission company to buy some of these products. But being involved with both the car builders, us building cars for testing in-house, we see demands and needs. Even our heater hose clips. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense that we would make heater hose clips, but these are 3D printed products, ECM mounts. So for like the popular E92 for an LT motor, they have no way to mount that computer. In fact, I can show you one, I believe over here. So these computers, there's no tabs, there's no bolt holes, there's no mounts. So you can't mount it anywhere without making another bracket. Well, the really interesting thing is if you look at even GM, there has never been a computer mounted to the body, metal to metal, since probably 2010. There's a reason for that, is it can get what they call a ground loop. They can create some oddities in the electronics. So these are actually carbon fiber infused nylon. Now, yes, carbon fiber can be conductive, so we get that question a lot, but I can promise you, as you see, we've got all the testing equipment here. We will test and ensure whenever this happens, there is no conductive in the mounts, but they will just snap in. So it's just like a factory, mount. You can unclip it out if you need to ever service it. We actually put O-rings in here whenever it's finished product for vibration resistant, and give you mounting locations, so you don't have to put all 9 bolt holes in, but if you need 2 or 4, we send the hardware to do that. But that's one of the things that we do, and we do it for the transmission controllers, engine controllers, relay mounts. We actually have a second facility that does R&D only in Michigan. A lot of people don't know that, but we've worked with Billy. He's been part of our team for 3, almost 4 years now. So most of the stuff will get developed up there. He actually controls a printer from Michigan.
Oh, really?
Here. And I mean, we have every right, we can operate them too, but he's got 3 machines there. We have 3 machines here, and he'll do all the testing, and then he'll send it and say, hey, in the morning.
So every now and then you might come in and the printers would be on printing something, you got no idea.
He'll tell me, hey, I got a new product if you want to check it out when you get to work in the morning. So that's cool. He's been a car builder for years. He had his own business, and we had such great relationship with him. We just brought him in, I say in-house. He's ours, but he's in Michigan. So he does a lot of our development.
Okay.
And you'll see more. So this is, as we were saying, the different revisions, as we would go through and 3D print on the adapters, what we wanted to do is, there is different manufacturers of flex plates. Some people want an SFI, which is more what they call an explosion-proof flex plate. And we found that just the ones that maybe it was available didn't work with all the flex plate options. So we wanted to refine it, ensure the product will work with the different flex plates. And again,
where would these differ? In what applications?
So these are both, actually this is an LT and this is an LS. But what you'll see is a lot of these companies are now creating, instead of a dished flex plate, which is stamped, this is a stamp, but they also have a spacer on the bottom to offset it. Well, whenever they create that spacer, this sticks through further than it would on a traditional motor. So whenever you start stacking things up, as you see, it will not touch the flex plate. So it would require a different offset here. So we'll keep refining until we get a version that'll come down and actually touch the flex plate again, so we can control that height. Okay. So that's how critical this is. You'll see
when you do sell a transmission, whether it's modified or not, does it come with an adapter?
It depends on the motor.
Okay.
So if it does, not all motors need it. So if I was taking a GM to a GM, no problem. If I'm taking a GM transmission to like a Hellcat, it's going to need an adapter or a bell housing. If I'm going, the most popular transmission right now is what we call an 8 HP, which is like originally out of like the BMWs and also like the Jeeps, Jeeps, Hellcat, Challengers, Chargers. So that's kind of today's craze that everybody wants. So whenever you're going to take that and go to a GM motor or a Ford motor, that's where you'll need an adapter to make everything marry up. Okay.
What's so good about those transmissions?
So I will give them credit that from a factory built transmission is probably one of the most consistent quality shift points, durability that we've seen manufactured. Now we're starting to see failure points, and we're starting to see things that in our world that maybe are not engineered well enough, so there's room for improvement. But I think everybody right now is on this craze of more speeds.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily from a fuel efficient standpoint. I don't think anyone in our world is really chasing fuel efficiency.
No.
It is more for keeping that engine in the peak RPM. So through acceleration, the shorter span you can keep between gears, the faster you're going to accelerate, the better that car is going to perform, because you don't have so much RPM to gain back up to get the engine into peak power. So that's where these 8 speeds, and out of all of them, they are the fastest shifting, so that makes that transition better. So we understand the demand. I think it is taken off faster than anything we've ever seen in the aftermarket. So we're seeing a lot of people just buying salvage yard takeout units, and they don't really know enough about it. So I think we might see some disasters here in the next few years. That's why we're not like jumping so heavy out there promoting it, because we want to know the data.
Yeah.
We can do them. You'll see we have some in process right now. The shop truck that we've been testing for over a year and a half, that's why we didn't announce it a year ago. I wanted to see, how does it perform? How does it work? What is the failure points?
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's an expert on the internet
Oh, of course.
until you really have a problem, and we try and get ahead of that.
So when it comes to shifting and obviously keeping up with the RPMs, are the paddle shifters, is that the main purpose behind them, because they do allow you to do it so quickly?
Yeah, so that's a mixed question. So paddle shifters in the right transmission, meaning a clutch-to-clutch transmission, is really well.
Because there's clutchless ones.
So like a DTC, which would be a clutchless, they're very well. Now, what happened is you see a lot of people want a paddle shifter in an old school transmission. It can be done, and I tell people, if it's for novelty of just having fun, they're great. If you're looking at from performance advantage, there's no performance advantage in, let's say, a 4L60, 4L80 of having paddle shifters, because it cannot respond as fast, and you don't have engine braking. So whenever I paddle shift down, you may not have that engine braking feel you would in like a 6, 8, or 10 speed. So there's a lot more to that question of how they function.
Right.
You can add a paddle shifter to probably anything, but I ask people, you know, what are you benchmarking this against?
Yeah.
What do you drive daily? So if their daily car is a BMW M5 or an M6, they're not going to be happy if they bought a 4L80 and they're adding a paddle shifter. It's not going to perform that well. So I almost talk them off from the ledge of, I don't think you're going to love this, or you'll have it and you'll never use it because it's not going to perform as you expect.
I always assume that because it's right there at your hand and you can do this very quickly, it might be more smoother shifting, but obviously that's not the case.
Now, that is the intention.
Yeah.
But it depends on the application and the transmission and everything else to the mix. So that's why we ask so many questions when we're building these transmissions for the customer. They usually give us a wish list, and that's what we need to know. And then it's like, okay, what's the primary function? What's the use? Is this a road tour car? Is it an autocross car, road course, drag race, whatever it is? There is no such thing as a perfect all-around car. They're like, oh, I want it to do well on everything. It's like, you're going to sacrifice somewhere for something. So we try and be very realistic about that and handle that approach. And if their primary function is speed of shifts and performance, we may take them down a different transmission path than they even requested. It's like, you are not going to be happy with this. Yes, you're going to spend more money, but if you're telling me that's your main important function of this car, I want to set you up for success.
Yeah.
You know.
For the longevity of it.
Correct.
And so they can actually use it.
Well, that, and so they smile when they're driving it.
And so that they smile when they're driving. All right, we've got some steering columns.
Yeah, I know. This was triggered by Roadster Shop. They had some specific needs and requests. So we worked with I Did It. I Did It seems to be probably the #1 steering column used in the industry. So we focused on that. We'll probably look at others. Just in case someone else is not using it.
Well, there is a factory tour, everybody, if you have not seen it. So I did it in Michigan, so
Great.
you can see exactly how they're made and, again, why they are so popular.
Well, they're another U.S. built company, so that's what we like about them. So this is, I probably shouldn't talk too much about it because we'll probably get people's interest too highly, but we're making a mechanism. We've already got it in prototype stage and actually being tested. For these 8-speed transmissions, there is no way to shift them. They have no physical shifter that moves a cable. So they wanted the ability to, I don't know if I can run it through the gears or not, probably not. They wanted to go through park reverse neutral drive. They didn't want to have the new modern dial or push buttons, because in our world that just kind of defeats the purpose. You know, if you get in this old classic car or truck and it's got a dial for a shifter, you want it to perform like that modern car. You don't necessarily want it to look everywhere like that. So, you know, we took that challenge, and so we've made it where we can now have a sensor that as you travel through the gears, it sends a signal to the transmission so it feels traditional, the indicator works correctly, and it gives you electronic signal instead of moving a physical cable. Then we took the next step would be on the lever, you know, again, the production ones are actually all black anodized, but we have a, you know, plus minus buttons, and it actually has an indication where you can tap shift up and down. So kind of going back to that paddle shift capability, this looks more factory OE in an old truck than having paddle shifters. It's probably not for that fastest, oh, I'm up here thing, but it gives them the ability, if they need to control or select a gear, they can. So this is what we call our new gear command. And we are actually starting to sell these now. This one, we're still probably about 45 days out before we have production. This is just more oddballs, whether it's, again, this is out of a DTC. So we made an adapter for a new Corvette transaxle to go behind a different motor. So we had to use all the internal components and make the adapters. This is internal components, so we're developing these because we're starting to see failures on these parts. We try and look at what failed or fitments. You know, this is like failure components. How can we make something better and stronger? So we'll review it. We'll look at what the metal is, how it's machined, how can we offer it better. But then this would be more your accessories. Same here. You know, we're seeing, as more people are shifting towards manuals, we want to make that shift feel on the clutch pedal as close to OE as possible. So we'll use OE stuff for as a benchmark.
Yeah.
You know, so rather than, you know, everybody loves the billet crazy race stuff, but not always is that what you need. So if they want to get in their 68 Camaro and it feel like their new Corvette clutch, because that's really what people are after, is that ease of the clutch, that more modern driving. We'll actually look at all OE components and how can we transfer that into fitment. So this would go back towards accessories and products that I feel showcases our product better. So we always, again, we use OE. OE usually has millions of dollars to like test all this. So if we can use that as a benchmark, that's what we're gonna do.
But also when it comes to the custom stuff, I mean, last year, the Grand National Roadster Show, America's Most Beautiful Roadster, Troy's 36, Ford 36, absolutely brilliant. There's a video on it if you haven't seen it. I had the pleasure of going to Troy's shop and seeing it while it was getting built. And of course, the transmission for that was custom made. That was something very different as well, because what they had done, putting it into an old 36 Ford, again required all the custom work from bowlers to get it. And it's not just that. I mean, Ring Brothers last year when they had unveiled it, it's all of these cars that we see that ends up in all of the magazines, and it's like, okay, what about the transmission? Let's find out, because they're high performance vehicles that require a lot of custom work. Speaking of Ring Brothers, coincidence.
We've been very fortunate to be trusted by so many of these high-end builders. And the demands of these cars, again, have changed. 20 years ago, they were trailer queens, and they looked amazing. But the price continues to go up, and these owners and these enthusiasts, they want to drive these cars. And that's what's so impressive. And again, that's where we come in. So most of these guys, they'll call us, say, listen, what do we need to do? This is what I want to do. And sometimes we talk them off from the ledge and go, I don't know if that's the best option. Troy is one that I love him. He was one of the first that gave me an opportunity clear back in 1998, and still loyal to me to this day. That he'll call me. He's like, listen, you tell me.
Yeah.
Here's the engine I want to use. There's the tire size and the gear ratio, and you guide the rest of it. And we love when I get that opportunity, because it shows they trust us. And it's like, if you tell me it's a 4-speed, fine.
Yeah.
If you tell me it's an 8-speed, fine.
Yeah.
He goes, if my customer wants a 10-speed, I'm going to say, Bowler told me this, so this is what you got. Because he just trusts in us that much. So we love when we get those opportunities, because we get put in other opportunities. It's like, no, my customer only wants a 10-speed.
Right.
And we know it's probably not the best fit. So sometimes we will step out of the picture of that, and we usually see them back a few years later. I wish I would have listened to you, because this isn't working well.
You won't just go ahead and do what the customer's asking, because you know it's not going to be the right decision.
Right.
And I guess people at home, folks, if the builders who are crafting these cars are coming to you and saying, you do whatever thing you think is best, then the best option is to give you guys a call. The details on the screen and in the description. If you have questions, to give you a call.
Yep.
That would be the best start, wouldn't it?
It would.
Okay, what's going on in this room?
So this is our component room that you're looking at here. So this is where we're going to build a lot of the accessories that we talked about, from our hydraulic kits to bezels to each of our components. So we make our own hydraulic component kits for the firewall. So for a first-gen Camaro, or this is actually an A-body Chevelle, we put together a whole kit with the hydraulic master cylinder, the brackets, reservoir. We machine all of our own reservoirs for the fluid. So each station is built, and we have BOMs and processes. So this is where everything starts that we stock our warehouse with. So all of our internal components are built in these rooms, and we have a station. So this is a hydraulic station. This is more like pedals, more hydraulic like firewalls. Got another shrink wrap machine that we can shrink the components to the board.
It's not just the transmissions, but all these accessories that are sold here as well.
Yeah, so we can handle everything from the slip yoke to the crankshaft. Realistically, we can help you with the drive shaft. We have manufacturers, we don't build them, but we have manufacturers we work with, so we can get everything under the car all the way back. So we pride ourselves on that. We build our own speedometer adapters for the Tremecs. Everything's made in US here, dual O-ring style, so there's no leaks.
Look at this. This is, like you said, it's all made right here.
Yeah, all the bezels, we machine all our own bezels, actually true leather, not vinyl. So we assemble all these in shrink wrap. You can see all the raw components. So everything is built here in-house. Our shift levers, so we have all of our different 14-inch, 10-inch, 8-inch shift levers are all machined in-house.
Can I bring that up closer? I do like these.
So we'll assemble those. Our shift knobs, we'll put the inserts in them.
Can you customize them?
We can. It gets very expensive, so I won't say we won't. It just got to be willing to pay for it, because that's that setup. Now, if you caught us when we're running shift knobs and you said, "Hey, it's not a big deal to make one," but most people don't want to wait, because we may make 300 or 400 shift knobs at a time.
Of course.
So I don't have to run them the rest of the year.
Right.
So,
that makes sense.
This was like on the True Shift product. This is where we even have a station. So I think a lot of people, when we talk about the 700R4 and the 204R, this is our solution where it changes the geometry and the detent cable pull. Everything bolts on. So this is an Edelbrock. There's a whole pile of carburetors back there, so we can test every style carburetor and EFI system that there is. These are all the raw components that we either cast or have machined. all the stainless brackets.
Wow.
But it's so critical that we actually test everyone before we ship it. We use only an OE-GM cable. We check the length of it. If the length's wrong, we recrimp and make the right length. And this is something where they have to check it before it ships out. This is a cross section of the valve body. So we actually see how it's moving the valve. So we ensure that as we move this, everything is functioning the right way. We also ensure that the auto ratchet mechanism, so whenever we do this, it should ratchet out to the proper setting. So everything is 100% tested as they're built before it goes in the shelf and ships out.
All of this for one small piece.
Yeah. And without this, you can burn up your 700R4 or 204R.
Okay, there you go. That piece is quite important.
That's why it's so important. That's your insurance policy there.
And that made a huge difference in the industry, didn't it?
It did. Huge. We won an award, and I'll be honest, that was probably in, I don't even know, 2005 or 6. I thought maybe at a 10-year life at the most, and we sell more today than we did when I thought the life would end. So we're thankful that the product's still running that strong. These are some of the products we saw on the ECM mounts. So after they go through 3D print, we will heat insert all of the threaded inserts. These are the O-rings we talked about earlier about the vibration resistant. Then it gets your hardware, they'll get shrink wrapped and then put on the shelf.
This is amazing. You know, you get it packaged at home, you don't see all of this process. And to have it happen right here in the States is just it's amazing. I love it.
These are our pigtails, so everything, again, will have processes so no one can build the wrong one. We build our own harnesses and setup here, so we know what combination they're going for. This is our all-in-one module that controls the reverse lockout for the T56 Magnum. It also gives you the correct speed output so you can run a GM Connect and Cruise computer. We can also run an aftermarket gauge, so we're the only company that has a product like this that controls the reverse just as OE does. It will prevent you from going into reverse once a vehicle is moving, and it also gives you a programmable with your smartphone, the speed output, so you know your computer might need 40 pulse, but your speedometer might need 16 pulse, and we can do that.
Wow, and you're the only company that does it.
We're the only company that offers it, yes.
And some of the benefits of having this?
So benefits is so let's say we run a GM Connect and Cruise with a 6-speed. The GM requires a 40 pulse input for cruise control and all the fuel management side of the computer. Well, a Magnum by Tremec only gives you a 17 forward pulse output. So without doing it a creative way, this makes that operate correctly. It also controls, so a lot of people will just hook the reverse lockout to their brake switch. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a really bad idea because every time you're on the brakes, it's just heating that solenoid up. If you're on a road course and you would shift from 6th to 5th, if you tap the brake, you could actually open the gate and go to reverse. It keeps us in business. We actually see one a week that probably has done that. So if they have this, it prevents that.
Solution here, it prevents that.
Yep.
And again, allows the two to marry.
Correct.
And be compatible. That's the difference, everybody. We talked about what makes the Bowler Performance different from the other competing brands out there, because there is brands out there with transmissions.
There's plenty of options.
There's plenty of options, but it's these small things, the fact everything's getting manufactured here in-house, each small detail, and of course the quality control, the testing.
QC is a big one. So CompuShift is the choice of ours of transmission controllers. We feel they are a superior brand. But we will have a harness built specifically for us. It's a different harness than what they sell. Mm-hmm. We'll actually build all of the components for the kit. We have all the different connectors, like we was talking about yours earlier. If you go with a Holley Terminator, it'll use a different connector than what we sent you originally. But we can make everything connect and play very nicely with all the different computers. So we don't have any built on the shelf. We build them for every customer. We calibrate them before we ship them. We know your tire size, gear ratio, all the shift points and pressures, and then it ships out.
This is HGM is also on the channel, everybody. So I had the opportunity to go out there and see how they get manufactured, and it's another place that's small yet quality control is right up there, and I'm not surprised that the two of you do work together. It's a great stuff there as well. So when it comes to the wheel and tire, when does the testing happen for the transmission? I guess I'm wondering about my own.
So, like, obviously, once we get your information first, we do this,
Yeah.
and we ship it to you because we'll actually dine it with that calibration. Let's say you change something down the road. Once you're ready to test drive, you can go in with your smartphone and change that.
And there's an app for it?
Yes, there's an
Okay.
app on the phone, HGM, it's called CS Setup, and that allows you to go in and alter any of that. And again, with us, we're going to help you through that. We'll usually have you send the base calibration. If you bought it from us, we already have it. If you say, hey, I changed this tire, this gear, or I've made these changes, we'll send it back to you. But you can literally, while you're driving, change the shift timing on the fly through your phone.
That's pretty cool.
It's really nice.
That's pretty cool. Well, there'll be more on my build and engine and transmission, and I'll have another expert with me. By another expert, I mean besides Mark, not me. Let's make that clear. What have you got here?
So this is, as we've seen on some of the transmissions, this are nightstick shifters. So this is a station for all the shifters. So we machine every component from
I didn't even know you guys made shifters.
Huh? Oh, you didn't know?
you didn't make
Yeah, I don't
shifters.
think a lot of people know. It's a best kept secret.
This is so cool.
So we focus on short throw shifters. So this is a mid shift. So if you want to convert it for a pickup truck, for a manual, we have a mid shift conversion. Shorter throw by 25%. We have, again, the straight up design. We have offset clockable design. But you'll see all the little pieces. These are all the pieces that go into a shifter. You'll see they've got one here kind of.
It's not that much of a big piece. Why is there so many different pieces?
Well, they're different ones. So these are for like the side shift that we seen earlier. So this is a machine component after we
On the
machine
side
the
of the
tail housing.
transmission, yep,
Bolts onto it. The tower that goes on that. So yes, there's a ton of components. One thing that we like to do on ours is we actually, if you look at the bottom of a factory Tremec, they have a boot. And that boot is really bad about deteriorating with fluid. So we went, again, off from an OE design. We have a ball seat with a neoprene O-ring, a nylon ball. We actually control the machine end of the ball. We actually machine it all the way down to the tip so we can ensure there's no leaks through all the ship positions. Because that's where we see a lot of mistakes made, is by the conforming of the ball to the O-ring. We assemble all the springs, all the components, and we actually even have a fixture as we put this together that measures the height of the load, so we know how much spring load is on it. Again, these will be O-ring style seal on the bottom. We also have a built-in limit plate so we can adjust and put a shift stop on it so you cannot over travel and hurt the transmission. So that's more than just a pretty piece. It's to ensure
I was
shorter
just about
throw.
to say, it does look fabulous, but there's so much more to it.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's probably one of the smoothest shifters out there, and we promise leak-free. So that's a big thing that unfortunately we see a lot in the industry, is the leaking on the shifter. So we want to eliminate that concern.
What is the warranty with the transmissions?
That is something unique to us. So ours is 2 years from the date of use, not the date of purchase. And a lot of people wonder how we track that. Our customers are giving us, trust in us. We trust back in them. In 35 years of me doing it, I've never had anybody that I felt try and cheat the system or try and misguide it. We could tell if somebody's been driving it for 10 years and they say it just started it.
Yeah.
So, our warranty, because we know how long these projects go. So if somebody says they've got a 3-year or 5-year warranty, the car may not be done before the warranty's up, but most is 90 days or 1 year. Ours is 2 years from the date of use.
Of course, I appreciate that a lot. Mark, when did I get my transmission?
Wow, but gosh, it's probably at least
come
a
on,
year
it wasn't
ago.
that long ago.
A year ago?
You're being kind.
You've been good.
2 years ago now.
All right. 2 years.
We did see the R&D and some of the design work behind it, but let's see where they get machined.
Yep. So this is, we now came into the new section that we built last year. So we're in what we call our warehousing area. So this is where the machining and the prototyping happens for the products. So after the R&D, after we develop and we 3D print, we'll bring it out and actually make the first one, out of billet and get it ready to go. And so we've got basically 3 machines here now. We've got a shop 20 miles from us that actually has more machines that has the full production. But these are, mills. So this is a 5-axis capable mill. We've got old school manuals. So, yep. So, still today, if I'm building a transmission and I need to machine just a snap ring groove, a little different height to get a clearance just right, or if I need to machine a pressure plate, I come to the old dinosaurs. And I mean, you can't beat these old machines. They're great, and that's what we use them for. It's more either one-off prototyping or to custom make a pressure plate or something for a build.
Mark, it's so nice and clean. How many people work at Bowlers?
There is 15 in-house and 1 remote. I wish it was 25, but we can't find the people. So
you are always looking for...
Always.
And you have expanded, and the demand is so big right now, but I've just been admiring on just how neatly, well-placed and organized everything is. With only 15 people as well. Yeah, so unfortunately, I feel like we are all overworked and wearing many hats, and that's okay. I mean, again, we're about the quality and do what we can. And yeah, they probably don't love Fridays. Fridays is cleanup day, so we stop about 3:30 on Fridays. Everybody can kind of relax. They can have a drink if they want, and they can enjoy the environment. But the goal is to clean. So every Friday is cleanup day. I remember usually that comes with treats, I've noticed.
Yeah. And then, these are the mills and the lathe. So one thing we do, like even on our carbon edition, so if we're running a factory front cover, so this is the front of the transmission, we'll actually machine an O-ring groove in here. It helps us ensure that the clearance is set more precisely and there is no chance of leaks. This is again how we learned the hard way. We had some inconsistencies with silicone where the guys were not getting it perfect. Well, they had a leak. That's why we pressure test to catch it. But anytime we can add a step to prevent, a common mistake of just user error, this gives us that peace of mind. So we machine all this for an O-ring.
That really enables a tight close, doesn't it?
Yes. And then if somebody really wants to elevate the carbon edition, we even make same front cover, but this is our billet edition. The cool part about this one is we have integrated a pump. So it will actually pick up the fluid. You'll see the factory has a provision for a pump because the factory Camaros, Corvettes all had pumps. What's interesting to me is Tremec felt the need that performance OE vehicles needed a pump to keep the gears lubricated better. But then on the aftermarket, there is no pump to help keep those gears lubricated or cool.
Because everyday people should not be racing. It's only the people there in NASCAR.
Right, yeah. Our wild industry obviously takes these cars to a whole nother level.
Exactly.
So we try and add that feature so we can offer a pump in a factory cover where we machine it, a billet cover. What the billet cover, this to me would be more a race like specific, especially road course type cars, because what we do is we do a spray bar. So this version OE, once we add the pump, it is just pumping the fluid internally and pumping it back onto a specific gear. We actually spray all 4 gears through the spray bar. So it's pumping and it's actually coming through here and it goes through a cooler. So
it's consistently lubricated.
Yeah. So the only people that really need this is road race, drag race, anybody that's really extreme environment.
And obviously being billet, it's able to withstand all the
Yep.
pressure. Wow.
As you'll see, Tremec.
Boxes and boxes of Tremec.
Yeah, yep. So the stock Tremec's ready to go. Like we try, and there's more on order constantly, so we'll always have them rolling in. And these are just ready to go out of the box, or we can modify them if the customer needs. And we're back in like the shipping area now. So you'll see Joe will pull all the components for the orders, and everything that basically has their customer name, their sales order number, matches a transmission that's on our build list. So these are usually the accessories. So on an automatic, we're typically going to send with the fluid, fill tube, cooler, flex plate. Again, we like to be the complete package. Manual transmissions will be the cross members, the clutches, the hydraulics, everything there. So these are all staged like for the customer. Once we get done, he's kind of already ahead, then he'll marry it all together and then have them ready to go out.
There is so many bottles of the synthetic oil. When I open it up,
Oh.
How much do you use?
So a typical automatic transmission will be anywhere from 10 to 14 quarts.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
depending on what one it is, but yeah, you probably got 12 quarts most
Yes,
likely in
I
yours.
did.
So,
I always wondered about that. Okay.
and of course, then they just go through here to get placed for shipment. So the ones that you'll see like flags, so that's either indicating a red flag means either we're waiting on payment or maybe waiting on a clutch or a part. There will be a reason that is held up. If they're banded, they're like ready to go, like nothing more.
I like the little flag system. So it does not get shipped. As soon as you come to
Right.
it, it's been flagged,
Yep.
move on. This is good to go. And
Yep.
that's why it is
Yep,
there.
that one is ready to go. These, that one's probably waiting on, that one's waiting on payment. That one's waiting on payment. These are ready to go. And so we'll actually have, everything. So this customer, this is a Roush Racing order, so they get 2, or they've ordered 2. We'll always ensure that on the outside of the boxes, it'll have the serial number, what it is, and the paperwork. So when they get it in, there's no way they can get them mixed up.
Yep. You sell engines.
We do not sell, I shouldn't say that. It's not what we're focusing to do. Mm-hmm. We have an option for customers that want the complete package. We can sell the LS3s and the LT motors. We've got a relationship with one of the GM performance dealers. So we can do it. We have done it. We keep, even though they're impossible to find right now, we have LS3s on the shelf. We have LTs on the shelf. We just don't.
The LTs as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So
you're nervous telling people that.
I am, because I'll probably use them in-house vehicles and not sell them. I don't like to talk about it because
Everybody gets nervous when they mention they've got some stock, because
That's like-
I know that shops are looking and people are looking and there's a long wait and it's on back order. So, but yeah, Mark's got some.
we just bought, if you notice, the white OBS truck out front.
I did.
So one of those is going to go for that, and that's why we don't really talk about it. But I try and always keep the motors on the shelf. If a good customer is in a bind, we'll help them.
Yeah.
But if I can keep them for in-house development, I will.
Fair enough, fair enough. You don't have to justify yourself. You keep them to yourself. But hey, the OBS truck, again, you're moving with the times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I would never thought an OBS truck would be a hot rod, but it is, and I'm okay with that. And we've got to stay with it. That's one thing that we're going to always stay up on is product development, fitment, cross members, hydraulics if they're doing a manual. Because, you think after '08, there was no more manual transmission trucks.
Right.
So we'll even look at, okay, let's get an '08, '09 in here, 2010, whatever it might be, and we'll develop clutch pedals and hydraulics, because the truck market continues to grow at a rapid rate, and they don't always just want an automatic.
Yeah.
So we're going to be sure they're taken care of.
And funny, you mentioned earlier that people used to think that all you did was only manual.
Yeah, it's crazy. So from 1963 probably until 2005, we never touched a manual transmission in our life. It was Kyle Tucker that drove me to do manuals, because he's like, we want to support you, we love what you do, but we drive manuals. I'm like, I don't think there's room for another manual builder. And he says, if you do what you do to automatics, to manuals, there's a market. And he was right.
Yes,
so,
and we've seen it with the demand for the T56. I mean, that is just very popular now, isn't it?
Yeah, the T56 is probably the most popular manual transmission we sell. Again, behind me is plenty of stock ones. We have more problems selling a stock Tremec than we do a carbon, which I'm thankful for. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It just, we love to just help people out and say, hey, we've got this as well.
It's right here. It's sitting on the shelves, everybody. So don't think that Bowler Performance is just about those custom transmissions. It really is not. The custom transmission is where the coach build comes into play,
Right.
the coach building. However, you've got stock Tremec transmissions
Yep, they're ready to go.
for any application,
For
honestly.
anything.
I couldn't help but notice these parts here.
Yeah, so these are probably our most popular. So yes, we build transmissions, that is our core, but we, again, sell accessories, products that make installation easy. So this is our lockup module to convert a 204R, and we have one for a 700R4. If you're putting one in your car and you need a way to control the converter, we have a product for that. We sell more of those kits than I thought there was transmissions even built. And we're thankful. We started a deal with Summit Racing last year. So not necessarily to sell our transmissions, even though they've sold a few, but like our lower value, like accessory products, it's a home run for them. So there's a Summit order, they're going together. It's amazing how many stocking orders they'll put together. But yeah, we're also known for a lot of the products like controllers for the converter. More commonly is what we call a true shift kit, which corrects the geometry to ensure you don't burn up your transmission. And it's probably our #1 selling product.
You've made something that stops people from burning up their transmission, which, I mean, that sentence alone is just like, it goes, it's like cheese and wine. They go together always, transmissions being blown up, but you've developed something. I need to see that.
Okay.
I'm very demanding, Mark.
I know. Just trying to think. We'll walk over. Let me grab a knife because I'll have to open one probably.
And if you're saying this is one of the most popular and best things that you have developed, then we really need to see it. And can this be used for any transmission? So
this is for the 700R4 and 204R only. I wish I had a solution for every single transmission. Oh, see, I don't even know our own products very well. I went to the wrong product. How about these?
But you're building the other transmissions in a way where they're not going to have these problems.
Correct. So they are electronically controlled, so we can do that through tuning and calibrations. These, the 204R and the 700R4, was hydraulically controlled by the cable. So a lot of people make the mistake and think this is a kickdown cable for passing gear. It's not. It's actually a detent cable that controls line pressure. And
how long ago did you develop this?
Oh gosh, probably 2005, 2006.
One of the times where you got the industry recognition awards.
Yes, this was one of the products. So it's a complete kit. It's going to be a bracket. So they're very specific to the carburetor or EFI. So you'll see we've got them for Atomic, Edelbrock, Quick Fuel. This one is for a Holley Sniper 2. That's probably the only, I guess, somewhat frustrating part, both for our part and the customer, is that yes, it's for a specific transmission, but you also have to have one for each specific application of the carburetor, because all these manufacturers change so much. So we have to develop a kit for each one. And so we actually control the starting point of the cable that bolts onto the back, and then the pull rate. So this is an arm that bolts onto the carburetor, and it changes the geometry or rate of pull. So this cable, if you remember earlier, that valve I showed you in the 700R4, they called the TV valve, that's what this is controlling. That controls line pressure. So the rate at that pulls is so specific to control the line pressure. If your pressure's too low, you're going to burn up the transmission. If the pressure's too high, it's either not going to shift or shift really hard. So a lot of people used to, like a Band-Aid, they just ensured that it was set really tight, so the pressure was high to protect the transmission. The downfall, it sucked to drive. The pressure was so high, it would just shift really hard, or they'd have to let off the gas to make it shift. And it's amazing how most people tolerate okay conditions. And so this made it factory feel. So just as GM designed it to shift correctly back in 82 to 92, we took that same OE style benchmark and applied it to the aftermarket to take that guesswork out. So there's no pressure gauge you have to mount, there's no adjustments, it auto adjusts, you ratchet the throttle, and you're done.
Wow.
So it takes all the guesswork out.
Because, I mean, there is a lot of enthusiasts out there who are loving and using the 700R4.
Yep, it's still, I say, I feel like it's fading off, but by the sales of these products, it obviously is not.
And you're keeping it alive, which, I mean, I love, because that's what people pull to.
Right.
It's what they know, it's what they're feeling, I guess.
And you'll see we're kind of in the mix of the warehousing, so when we say we're going to supply the fill tube, the ARP bolts, every component we keep in stock to make a kit complete. And this side is all automatic components, the other side is all manual components. Everything is, sectioned into part numbers and rows, and cooler manifolds, coolers. We make our own cooler line kits. We machine all our own cooler fittings and all of our manifolds for the modern transmissions. I say we may not be a big mass assembly manufacturer, but again, that's not my business model. It was a coach built one-on-one. The transmission starts with one person, ends with one person, and ends here, and it's built to everybody's specifications that they give us, and it's what we pride ourselves on.
It's not about mass production, but this has been so awesome. And whether you are just looking for a transmission, or, like I said in the beginning, if you're building, customizing, or looking to upgrade it, this is the place that must be on your list. Give Mark and the team a call and have a chat about what your plans are.
Well, I mean, again, I pride myself on, we have an amazing team, and they are passionate about it. So you're not going to get just somebody on the phone that doesn't know, and we are small enough that we know all the projects in the shop at all times. So whether you talk to Chester, Jeff, Chloe, Jesse, whoever, it's not like we're going to just be clueless. We understand. We take so much pride in every single one of them. We're going to know, Bill, where your project's at.
Yep.
We even have full, I know it seems crazy for as small as we are, even AI capability of what our schedule is, who's on the build, as it moves. We have a traveler system, so they know up front as soon as it gets to dyno phase, when it's done to dyno phase, when it goes to ship phase, and it flags the whole system.
Absolutely love it. This has been awesome. Mark, I do appreciate you. All those details on the screen and in the description as well. This has been such an eye-opener for me. I've learned so much more about transmissions today.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Yep, thank you.